What's up, everybody? We don't want the echo. There we go. Killed that. What else? Close that. Reopen this. Let me play some music while I finish getting situated here. My apologies, man. When I live stream from my laptop from the hospital, OBS got all bent out of shape and confused because I was no longer streaming from said laptop. Stupid technology. Okay. Let me make sure that we are squared away here. Okay, so we kept the original stream. Canceled the new one. Canceled that one. Go back here. And let me find you guys and we're good to go. There we go. There we go. All right. Not everything I wanted, but we're here. And we're live. I will turn that down a little bit. There we go. The music should be faint in the background. I should be way higher than the audio. Hopefully. Well, what's going on, everybody? My name is Jesse, aka your very own one and only Chi-Town Smart. And to say it's been a long and rough 13 days would be putting it extremely mildly. I want to start off by apologizing for the lack of content. And I know what you guys are going to say, and I appreciate it and I get it. But nonetheless, I still appreciate the fact that you're still here. And what can you do, man? What can you do, man? So let's get into the gist of it. For the unaware, about 2 weeks ago, right before spring break, my 8-year-old son LJ came home from school with flu-like symptoms, and he's a little boy that gets sick. To anybody who has kids or just aware of how kids operate, they come home sick from time to time. All right. So, um, we did what parents do with sick kids. My wife works in healthcare, so we were all over it. You know, um, Get the Motrin, Tylenol, kids medications, all that stuff. He had a pretty bad cough, and he kept spiking high fevers. So this went on for like his whole spring break, basically. And when it got to the point where he should have been better but wasn't, we got concerned and we took him to his doctor. We took him to see his primary doctor, his pediatrician, and they ran a bunch of tests and everything. And she said that, well, yeah, he's got flu B, and sent him home with stuff to take care of it or whatnot. And we went home, and about less than 1 hour later, she called back with some test results and says he tested positive for pneumonia. And we were like, oh, wow. Okay. So she immediately sent over, the antibiotics and, all the stuff needed to treat, a kid with pneumonia. All right. And then, about a day or so after that, his symptoms weren't getting any better. And then my wife noticed his breathing was extremely labored. So in the middle of the night, she got up and she took him to the hospital. Now at that point, this is where you guys pretty much saw me last on the AEW stream, where I was starting to get sick. I even said it myself. I'm starting to, I'm getting sick. I'm coming down with whatever my son had, because I got sick from him. So my wife took him to the hospital. I'm at home, with all kinds of flu symptoms and everything else. And the doctors, treated him there. They decided they were going to admit him. So they did. And in the meantime, I'm at home with my daughters, and we're all just trying to make it because I'm laid up. I'm no good to anyone there, but my 14-year-old is old enough to do what she can around the house, and she helped out. While my son was in the hospital in the early days there, right away we kept getting words from the doctors like, we are trying to get him out of here in a day or two. He should be out of here in a couple of days. And every time a couple of days would come, no one was any wiser as to why he wasn't improving. All right. So at this point, I'm starting to get frustrated and worried because why is it he's not getting better when that was your original prognosis? Everybody kept saying he should be out of here soon. He should be out of here soon. So basically, I was concerned that the doctors there were not being aggressive enough with his treatment, that they just treated him like they would any other pneumonia case for a child. Well, we ended up being in that hospital for 13 days. All right. In a few days, I got better from the bug that I had, and I was able to go to the hospital. And my wife came home to deal with stuff around the house. All right. Um, and turns out he had pneumonia and it spread it to both lungs. He had a large amount of fluid on both lungs. We found this out when we took him down for a CT scan and everything else. And the case slowly but surely became more and more complicated. He had a fever. He had multiple fevers every day, especially overnight. Um, they put him on a slew of antibiotics. Nothing was working. He blew an IV, so they had to redo an IV. You can imagine trying to draw blood and do an IV for an 8-year-old and how torturous it is. And that's pretty much how it went. So we're there 13 days. For the most part, I would say like up to like 9 days or so. His spirits were fine, outside of the discomfort, the fevers, and the coughing. The coughing was another problem. He was going into coughing fits that would cause him to vomit. And so he had to have breathing treatments and everything else. So this case went from we'll get him out of here in a couple of days to becoming the most complicated case of pneumonia that this children's hospital has ever seen. Outside of not the worst, I want to clarify that it wasn't the worst, because the worst ones are the ones where the kids don't survive. And I'm not gonna lie, that's where I thought this was headed. The longer he was there, the more I was convinced that he was not going to survive this case of double pneumonia. All right, so I'm there. I was there with him pretty much every day. The only time I was not there is the time that my wife came up and I went home to shower and we cleaned up and grabbed some fresh supplies and everything and go back up there. So I wanted to make it a point that one of us was always there. When I was young, I had to go to the hospital to get a surgical procedure, and I was staying with my grandparents at the time, and my grandfather dropped me off at the hospital and left me, and I was terrified. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't realize like what the problem was. I didn't know why I was being left there, and I was terrified. So for that trauma alone, my son was not going to be left alone in that hospital. So we were there at every given second that he was there. And the doctors every morning, they come in and they make their rounds, and they kept saying stuff like, we can't get to this and we can't get to that. And I was getting angry and frustrated because when he first got there, all we had doctors telling us was he'll be out of here in a couple of days. And that's why I came to the conclusion that I just feel like they didn't do everything that they possibly could in the early stages to prevent it from spreading and getting as bad as it did. Now, I could just be a frustrated parent looking to, point fingers and place blame somewhere. I get that. But it doesn't mean I'm wrong either. It doesn't mean I'm wrong. And I addressed that with them, and they said that they had no reason to believe that his condition was as bad as it actually was until it did. I mean, it still makes no sense to me because I feel like if they would have did more to look and to search and to figure stuff out as opposed to just being passive about it, then it wouldn't have spread as much, you know. But um, nonetheless, it took X-rays, more CTs, and then they were able to get a handle on the pattern of inflammation and fluid that he had to deal with, and they got a better adjustment of his antibiotics. But he was still there. He was still there because one of the things they wanted to try to nail was going 24 hours with no fever, and that just wasn't happening. He was spiking the fever every day, mostly at night, mostly in the middle of the night. So I was up a lot of those nights of those 13 days just checking him, keeping the room cool, making sure he's not over wrapped up in blankets and stuff like that, just trying to give his body the best chance that it could to fight off the fever, because that was one of the goals they were trying to reach, and we couldn't get to it. He kept spiking fevers and no one was really able to tell us why. But yeah, after about 9 days or so of the 13-day stretch, his morale was slipping, you know. And if you know my son, he is always high in spirits. He's always a kid, you know. I don't know how else to describe it, but just a lively 8-year-old kid. And even being in that hospital during that stretch, he, you know, it was for him, it was like, it is what it is. We'll get through it. You know, at least dad is here with me and mom is here with me and everything like that. But after a while, it started to take its toll. The doctors were seeing it and everything else. And it's kind of hard to turn to him and say it'll be okay when there was a moment there that we didn't know. We didn't know if it would be okay. I mean, I'm sure you guys are aware pneumonia can kill it. First off, pneumonia can kill anyone if it's bad enough, but pneumonia can kill an 8-year-old child with underdeveloped, you know, organs and everything like that. I mean, he's still growing. He doesn't have full lung capacity and things like that. So a bunch of fluid on his lungs and an infection and things like that can be deadly for him. And the longer he was there, the more concerned that we got. You know, it was starting to feel like some doctors were sugarcoating things that they were telling us, and that was frustrating. I had to flat out tell him, I'm like, don't sugarcoat it with me, please. Just let me know what it is. And at the end of it, at the end of the 13-day stretch, I would love to say, like, you know, he was all cured and good to go and they let us go. But unfortunately, that's not the case. All right. I feel comfortable in saying this, though. I feel comfortable in saying that the worst is over. I do feel comfortable in saying that the worst has passed. And I'll take that. He's home. He is on the couch in my living room. And he is comfortable. All right. I feel like, I believe the fevers have stopped ish. We're always checking them. If they start to climb a little bit, we're pumping them with meds to try to keep the fevers down, and that's effective. His cough is still bad. He's still There's still plenty of fluid in there that he needs to physically cough up, and he is doing that. We have appointments with a pulmonologist. We have appointments up the Wuha to check on him and things like that. The infectious disease department. We ended up leaving. We had upwards somewhere between 10 to 15 doctors all working on his case. And the more doctors that come in working on your case, the more worried you get. He had so many doctors come in. They would come in teams of like 4 and 5 into his room. They would come in just in groups. We had this team, we had that team, we had the overall team, we had the head doctor. There was one doctor in charge of everything that all teams were doing, and we never even met that doctor until the day that he was being discharged. He was the one. I don't know if the strategy is, I don't know what the strategy is, but he was getting all his reports from all of his other doctors, all the other specialists. They were all reporting back to him. And we never even met that guy till the final day that he was being released. He got all the reports, all the blood work, the CT scans, the x-rays, and finally he got out of there. Now, the new thing right now, the new concern is long-term damage. Did he suffer any kind of long-term damage to his lungs dealing with that pneumonia? He was an 8-year-old boy. Well, he still is an 8-year-old boy. And he was about to start baseball camp. He runs and plays and jumps outside, rides his bike. He's used to playing and tiring himself out. But for the short term, at the very least, that has to change. Azetta is here. Hello. Azetta is aware of everything that was happening here. So for the short term, that's gonna have to change because he can't do everything that a normal kid would do for the time being, especially since we don't know if it's just him naturally getting tired or if something is getting worse. So everything is going to come in steps and slowly but surely. But laying in a hospital bed for damn near 2 weeks, the body does not like that. The body is not used to that. So it's going to take time to build that strength back up. He was already a small guy and he lost weight while in the hospital. He's still trying to get his appetite back. He's trying to just get back to normal. We don't know how long that's going to take. And that's the frustrating part. Like, we don't know if we're looking at a month, 6 months, a year. We don't know. All we can do is play it slow, play it safe, kind of play it by ear. We don't want him to overdo it and wind up back in the hospital. Right now, that is his biggest fear. He does not want to go back to the hospital. And the poor guy had a coughing fit, and he thought that was gonna make him have to go back to the hospital. He was terrified. So we're trying to do everything that we can to make sure that he takes it slow, because it's gonna get to a point where he's gonna feel 100% better, and he's gonna want to let loose, and then we're gonna have to hold him back. Summer is coming, and I hate for him to have to sit in the window and look out of the window and look at his friends play while he's in the house, because he can't do too much. But at the end of the day, he survived it, and that's my biggest concern. He He survived it. He fought through it. He's still dealing with it. But my God, man, I grew up on some of the on the south side in some of the worst neighborhoods in Chicago. I myself was hit by a car and almost killed when I was a kid. I've seen some pretty messed up stuff, and I've had some pretty messed up stuff happen to me in my life. And I can, without a shadow of a doubt, easily say that the last 2 weeks was the scariest part of my life. And I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. You know, me and my wife kept thinking about the people that go through things like this and they have it much worse, you know. I understand it. Parents who tragically lose their kids instantly. Parents that have to watch their kids suffer through things like cancer and things like that. It doesn't make this situation feel any better knowing that it could be worse, because it was still just as scary. But we try to count our blessings at that point, because when there's the uncertainty of what's going to happen, everything races through your brain. You start imagining the worst, And here I am trying to stay strong. I still have 2 little girls who are worried about their brother. They can't go see him. All they have to go on is basically the reactions of their mother and their father. And if they're looking at us and they see us breaking down and not being able to hold it together, how are they supposed to feel? While he was in there, for the most part, he was on isolation, meaning that no one was allowed to see him. So immediate family was allowed, that was it. But his sisters couldn't see him. My 14-year-old couldn't see him. And LJ is a twin. LJ is a twin, and his twin sister couldn't see him. They've never been apart this long. And this whole condition, this whole situation was completely tearing my family apart. It completely put everything on pause. Nothing mattered anymore. We didn't give a crap about, house, this, that, appointments. I had appointments, bills. None of that mattered anymore. We didn't give a crap about any of it anymore. But there was a moment when the doctors took him off of isolation. They took him off of isolation, and we didn't tell LJ about it. And we just had his sisters come up, and we snuck them up without telling them for dinner one night. And the look on his face was like, oh man. First he smiled, and he was in a state of shock. And then like 5 seconds later, he was in absolute tears. He was in absolute tears. He was a complete wreck. He had no idea his sisters were coming. He had not seen them in a very long time. I've never seen tears of joy come from him like that. Ever. It just goes to show how close they are and what all of this did to all of us emotionally. He got to have dinner with his sisters. They got to catch up. He got a bag full of get well soon cards and presents from everyone in his class at school. It was scary. It was scary. But he's back home, We're not out of the woods, but we are getting there. It's gonna be a slow recovery process, but he's back home. And if things were that terrible, they wouldn't have let him come home. So we like to try to make sure that we appreciate the blessings. All right. The road in front of us we can deal with, and we will, but it's a relief knowing that it could be much worse and that hopefully it's all downhill from here. That is the hope, and it's a wake up call. It's a wake up call, man. It makes you put things in perspective. I could definitely tell you that. It makes you reassess everything that you do. It makes you appreciate the things that are important, you know? Cuz I don't know. I don't know what would have happened to me if I lost my only son. I don't know. I don't know. I would just be here in body. But that's scary. That is scary. Um I've seen all your well wishes. I've told him about all of them, all of your comments, all of your likes, all of your retweets, all of the DMs. I told him about all of them. You know, it got to a point on Twitter where I had to just stop opening that app because somehow, some way, just the evil side of that app managed to come through, even in a situation like this. So I had to stop going on that app entirely. So that's why I kind of went live from the hospital a couple of times just to keep you guys updated. Because if you really cared enough to want to know what happened, you would tune in when you could, and you would check out the video. And you guys are the people who were important enough for me to try to keep informed. So I decided to do that. As you can see, I'm back home. It's not nighttime in Chicago. Just saying. But I'm back home. And my son is in the other room on the couch. And that is, I feel like, let me tell you something. My son went to the hospital and he was still in the hospital during Easter. During Easter, on Easter Sunday, my kids go through the whole Easter spiel. They do the whole Easter baskets. They get toys, they get candy, they get, all that other stuff. And my two daughters refused to have Easter until my son got home. They refused. They literally paused Easter. So Easter had to wait 2 weeks. And when he got home, then they got to celebrate Easter together. That's how close they are. It's heartwarming to see stuff like that happen. Guardian, what happened? Oh yeah, yeah. I remember you telling us about that Guardian. Yeah, that man, bro. Guardian. Look, man, you are a stronger man than me. You are a stronger man than me. I took all of this for granted. I took stuff like my kids' health. I took all that stuff for granted, man. I mean, my kids have stuff that I didn't necessarily. My kids have stuff that I was not guaranteed when I was their age. I was not guaranteed a meal, shelter. I was not guaranteed any of that stuff, man. It eventually came at some point, sometimes a little bit later than it should have, you know, but within the struggles that I had when I was their age, safety, clothes, this stuff wasn't guaranteed to me, and it's guaranteed to them. Their problems right now are nothing like the problems I had growing up. And for that, I feel proud that that me and my wife are able to provide for them in that regard. But when something like this happens and you have no control over it, you just feel helpless. You just feel helpless. All of their life, we are able to give them any and everything that they need, and then pretty much most of anything that they want. And in that moment, for those 13 days, there was nothing we could do. That's scary. And Guardian had to suffer the ultimate fate in that regard. And bro, I am so sorry, man. I am so sorry. So, he's home. He's recovering. We are complete again. The Smart family is whole again. And we can all smile, family and neighbors and everyone else. Followers like you guys, supporters, subscribers. Man, you guys have no idea. All of that stuff mattered, man. All of that stuff mattered because it came at a time when I felt like nothing mattered. Absolutely nothing mattered. He hated the food in the hospital. So we were spending a lot of money in takeout and DoorDash and Uber Eats and stuff. And my God, that stuff is expensive. But I didn't care. I didn't care. I wanted him to feel comfortable, and then I had to eat too. No one had time to cook and stuff like that. So the support, if nothing else, helped in that regard because my God, you guys know. I don't have to tell you, man, but those delivery services are like highway robbery these days, man. $30 for a burger and fries. Not even exaggerating. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So I can't thank you guys enough. I'm gonna get into the super chats in a little bit, but one more thing I wanted to cover here is the future of this channel. All right. So we are gonna transition a little bit. All right. I've been covering TNA weekly. All right. And I enjoy it. I haven't watched it in a couple of weeks, been a little busy, but I enjoy it. For the most part, I feel like everything has declined a little bit since Scott D'Amore left, but that's here nor there. Unfortunately, it feels like most of you don't really enjoy it. So we are going to transition a little bit here. I'm not going to cover the weekly TNA shows going forward. Okay. I will cover the pay-per-views. All right. I'll keep up on what's going on weekly, and I'll cover the pay-per-views for now. We'll see how those do. All right. Um, I did I kind of watched the WrestleMania season build. But I did watch all of the WrestleMania weekend stuff though. So um we're gonna transition and we are going to cover WWE. All right. I'm not gonna cover it. I'm not gonna cover it immediately after the shows. I will probably go on and cover them the next day. Whether or not it's live or recorded, that I'm not sure about. But I will cover Monday Night Raw on Tuesdays. I will cover SmackDown on Saturdays. All right. The format and everything like that, we'll get to it. Well, holy crap. Holy crap. Where's my... Crimson with the $100 bomb. Holy shit, says, I just want to send you a little something. I'm glad your son is doing better. I'm a father myself, so I can imagine how scary it was for you. Crimson, thank you so much, man. And yeah, bro, it was easily and by far the absolute scariest thing I've ever had to deal with in my life. Ever, 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 ever. And I hope that I never have to deal with something like that, nor do I wish that upon my worst enemy. That is the absolute worst. But that is a relief, Crimson. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Thank you to everyone who has donated to the channel, man. You guys are amazing right now. And I'm going to get to every last single one of you, man. Thank you so much. But so we're going to cover WWE on the following day, not live the next day. So Tuesdays we'll cover Raw and Saturdays we'll cover SmackDown. Maybe in the morning, maybe in the afternoon. I don't think it'll go into the evening, especially since all of the TNA pay-per-views normally fall on a Friday, Saturday, and things like that. So those days will probably do double streams. But I would love to keep covering, TNA on a weekly basis and everything like that. But the amount of effort that it takes to go into it, there's just no return on investment right now. I'm enjoying the product, so I will continue to watch it. But we'll see. I'm not sure about Collision, but as of right now, the goal is to also cover Collision on Saturdays. Those will probably continue to go live after the show. If not, then we'll just make it a next day thing like everything else and do it on Sunday, early Sunday. So that means I gotta have to, again, it was never that I hated to watch WWE. It's just I didn't have time for it to commit to it and everything else. And even right now, I have to shift a bunch of things around, make things work out, and then I have to actually watch it more. But the fact that I get to cover it the next day means that I don't have to sit in front of the TV live when it's happening if I have other things going on. My daughter seems to be a part of every damn club in the history of the school. So I'll be available to help with that when I need to and to be supportive of that when I need to. So the fact that we're not covering it right after the show, it gives me more flexibility to watch it the next day, later on when I can, and things like that. So if you ask, how come you couldn't cover it before, but now you can now? Because I'm changing up the scheduling of how I'm going to cover it. And it also means that I can't watch TNA when I want. But the good part about that is since they only do like a pay-per-view a month or something like that, I can literally binge the whole month of pay-per-views in a day or two and then watch the pay-per-view and then cover that. So I've had plenty of time to sit around and think about this stuff, you know? And if the goal is to grow the channel, I can't do it covering a product that only a handful of people find interest in. So I'm going to continue to cover it because I like it, but we're just going to cover it in a different way in a more spaced out environment. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? That means I have to watch. Man, I have not watched. I cannot remember the last full Raw or full SmackDown that I watched beginning to end. I've tuned in, watched the opening segments, and then left. I've tuned in, watched the main events, and then left. I have not watched a full TV show in a while, so it should be fun. It should be fun. I'm going to keep saying this until I'm tired of saying it, but I can't thank you guys enough. Destiny FOMO, bless her heart, sent my son a crap load, and I mean a crap load worth of Nintendo gift cards for him to download anything that he wants to play. You know she's the queen of video games, man. So he had a ton of fun playing those. He wasn't just held to playing only the things that he's only had on his Switch. I don't know what else to say, man. I don't know what else to say. But when times are not going great, you really do. You get a better understanding and a better feel as to who are the ones you can depend on. You know, I'll just put it like that. You get a better understanding of the people that actually care and who you can depend on. I've gotten some wild DMs, man. From supporters that I never would have known actually gave a crap. So, I mean, I've heard them all. You know, even shout out to Drew. I heard his well wishes as well. You know, unfortunately, there are some people out there who have no idea that pro wrestling takes a back seat to some things. They think it's all pro wrestling all the time, and they have no idea that real life can be more important. And in this situation, it absolutely was. That took a lot. That took a lot to relive all of that. And I feel better. I feel better. And I'm ready to move on. And I'm ready to move on and get back to work over here, man. I couldn't do any of this without all of you guys here right now. So I can't thank you guys enough, man. I can't thank you guys enough. Ryan, the Canadian Chipmunk, with the $20 super sticker, bruh. Thank you so much. And a 17-month Taco Crew member says, hang in there, Jesse. We believe in you. Hope your son's doing better. I appreciate you so much, man. Also, before I forget, the member exclusive content is also coming. I promised it. I have ideas for it, and that is also coming as well. The new emotes, everything that needs to be done will get done. I have I have a newfound motivation to get this stuff going because I'm pretty sure those hospital bills are on the way, bruh. But I don't care. I don't care. My son is doing better. And that's what's important. Emerald Lord, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Again, man, you be surprised. You know, I don't want to have anyone break character or anything like that, but you be surprised on some of the reach outs I've gotten. So thank you so much, man. Guardian Chaos with the 1999 super chat says, "From my family to yours, Jesse, continue prayers and positivity, my brother. I feel your pain." Like I said, Guardian, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you were able to do it, but everything that I went through over the last couple of weeks is nothing compared to what you have gone through, and I'm so sorry you had to go through that, man. I'm so sorry. Greg Goldman with the $10 super chat says, "Hey Jesse, I'm glad your son is okay, man." Thank you so much, Greg. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Miss Karada, I hope I pronounced that right, with the £5 super chat says, "Hi, it's not much, but hope it helps a little. I grew up with asthma, and I know it's not fun for him. Hope he gets well quick. Hugs from Germany." Thank you so much. Look, if £5 is the best you can do, then that means a lot to me, because I feel like you didn't have to do that, but you felt the need to anyway. So I thank you so much. I appreciate it. Brian Owens with the $10 super chat says, "It's not much, but it's a little something for your family. We Chicagoans must stick together." I agree. And same, Brian. It does not matter that it's not much. I mean, because between everyone here, it all helps, man. It all helps. And you know, the fact that you guys are still here right now, watching me right now, it's further incentive for me to get back into this studio and get to work. It's also a diversion. So a lot of you probably saw me hang out and spend some time on Twitter during WrestleMania weekend and stuff like that. It's a distraction, man. It's something to look into and to have fun with and do without having to focus on all of the stuff going on. Unfortunately, doing that brought out all of the lifelong trolls and got me to the point where I would just take my chances with real life because Twitter sucks, you know? So, but getting back here and creating content for you guys is the ultimate distraction, and it helps keep my mind clear. I know a lot of you don't agree with my takes and everything like that, but all of that got put on the back burner for most of you, and I can appreciate that. Thank you all. Where was I? Angel Alaga with the $20 super chat says, "Jesse, long time no speak. Hope your son is improving, and you're in my thoughts and prayers." Thank you. Or my thoughts and peevers. Thank you so much, Angel, for putting me in your peevers. I appreciate it, man. I love being in peevers. You guys are awesome, man. Triple M with the $5 super chat. "We love you, Jesse. We'll keep your son and family in prayers. Much love." Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I sincerely do. Crimson, again, the $100 super chat, bro. That's amazing, man. That is amazing. Thank you so much. Scumdog 420 with the $20 super chat says, "Found your channel through JD's channel. Just wanted to show a little support for your son." Scumdog, welcome. Subscribe. I'm glad you're here, man, and thank you so much for thinking about me and my family in this extremely difficult time, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Swingman Lou with the 1999 super chat says, "Man, I was in the hospital with my pregnant wife with hyperness, hyper hyperbimus. I've never heard of that condition, so I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. Had me so scared for the baby, man. So here's a little something for you and the little man. Godspeed. Thank you so much, Swing Man. I appreciate it, man. And I know you're feeling. I know what you're feeling, man. I thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I'm at a loss for words. Angel Alaga with the $50 super chat says, "So happy you will cover WWE. As I mentioned in my previous super chat, so happy your son is doing better and is home." Angel, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I hope I can do it justice. I hope I can do it justice. The only thing I can do is be honest with it, man. What else is there to be but honest, right? What is there to be but honest? I did enjoy WrestleMania weekend, though. As a whole, I enjoyed the crap out of it. I watched it with my son in the hospital. You know, like I said, it was a great distraction, man. But it should be fun. It should be fun. Like I said, I've been watching WWE most of my life, so I mean, it's just a matter of timing and things like that. But we'll get back into it, man. We're gonna have some fun with it. I got some ideas. But thank you so much. Clone Force 99 with the 4.99 super chat says, "I love fact WWE is bringing in mid-card women's championship on NXT. Are they really? I haven't watched NXT in a minute, man. And I hope the same comes on main roster. IC and US title belt. Prayers for your family." Interesting. I don't know how to feel about that, man. I got to dip into the roster a little bit longer. I'm not going to dip into NXT. There's no way I have time for that, bro. No way. I'll take a look at the depth at the women's division, get a better look at it, and see what's going on there. Thank you so much, though. And you're back at it again. Clone Force with the 199 says, "TK and AEW need to stop worrying about Papa H and WWE." I agree, man. I agree. Same goes both ways. I think WWE needs to stop worrying about AEW. And same thing, AEW needs to stop worrying about WWE. You know, it sucks that they can't get along. I know at its early inception, Tony Khan made attempts to work with WWE and got his, basically got his proverbial hand slapped away from him. So I'll let you guys be the judge on where that beef starts. If one company reaches out to try to work and the other company says, "Get the fuck out of my face," we shall see. I heard WWE was making attempts to work with other companies. Why is AEW not on that list? Why are they the enemy, but not any other promotion? That's kind of weird to me. Greg Goldman with a $20 super chat. So happy LJ is getting better. Are you still gonna do AEW with JD? Why would I not? Of course. Absolutely. Be there, what's today? Monday? Be there on Wednesday. Thanks, Greg. Jedi Joker with the $10 super chat says, "I don't know you personally. I only know you through JD and wrestling, but I feel like you are one of the coolest people I know. Glad your son is doing better. Just keep your head up. We got your back." Jedi, man, that's love, man. That's love. I appreciate that, man. I do. And I be honest, I start to feel that way about, most of you. Never met you guys before for the most part, other than the people that I have met at meet and greets. but by the names, seeing them so much, Guardian, Quaz, all the regulars. You guys know who they are. Ryan, you start to become I like calling them online friends. You guys become pretty good online friends, man, and that means something, man. And I appreciate you all, man. Thank you so much. Omega Kong with the 4.99 superset says, truly happy that your son is doing okay. All glory to the Most High. Bruh, you have no idea, man. Never prayed so much in a 2-week span in my life. Thank you so much. Mid Missouri Smart with the $5 super chat says, glad your family is whole again. JS, I have an extra ticket to Dynasty that I'd eat the cost if you are available, although I get it if you can't go. I appreciate it, bro. Shit. Where is Dynasty? I don't know. Where is Dynasty? Although traveling does not seem like it's going to be able to be on my schedule for right now. But I do appreciate it either way, bro. Where is Dynasty? Swift718 with the $20 super chat says, many blessings to you all. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. It's in St. Louis. Okay. St. Louis is not that far, actually. But yeah, probably not, man. I have to stay as close to home as humanly possible for the foreseeable future, man. Gotta make sure the boy is okay. But if things should happen to change, who knows, man? Thank you so much. Oh, there's MJF's Q. That means we gotta wrap this up. Hollywood Eric with the 1 month says, I was gonna save this 1 month anniversary chat for another time, but I couldn't. Wanted to say, Jesse, thank God your son is okay. Can't wait for Wednesday. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Brian Owens with the 7 months says, I would love to buy you a drink and pick your brain and talk wrestling once everything is back to normal with your family. Absolutely, bro. I am thinking about hosting a Chicago meetup for something like a pay-per-view or something like that. Do it like at a movie theater where they're showing the pay-per-view. I'm going to gauge it and see how many people would be interested in going. And I think I will set something up like that. Watch a big pay-per-view, maybe like a SummerSlam or something like that at a theater, where we can have drinks there and food and everything like that. But we should look into it, man. We should look into it. Guys, I appreciate it. I don't have words, man. I don't know what else to say. You guys have been amazing. You guys have been amazing. I'm here. I heard a rumor that Forbidden Door might not be happening at all. Has anyone heard about that? Any kind of rumor to it? Just out of curiosity. Maybe it's complete bullshit, but we'll see. You've heard? Yeah, I heard something about that. It wasn't happening. It was false. Okay. It was moved from Arthur Ashe, but it wasn't relocated yet, if I'm understanding that correctly. So, it's going to be on Long Island. Okay. All right. Scumdog420, welcome to the Taco Crew, bruh. I appreciate you. You will be getting that exclusive Taco Crew content coming up extremely soon. Guys, I got to get going. My daughters are coming home from school soon. I got to check on my son and my wife, make sure they are all good to go. This was therapeutic. I enjoyed getting that all off my chest. And you know what? One day, because what you do on YouTube lives on the internet forever. one day my son will grow up and he'll actually see this. And when he does, I want to tell him, I love you, boy. And you mean the world to all of us. So glad you're doing better. That is it for today's show, guys. Thank you guys for all being here, man. I appreciate it. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe and hit the alerts button, because when I do upload, you'll be the first to know. Let's start Raw tomorrow. What do you guys think? Let's start Monday Night Raw tomorrow. So I will see you guys tomorrow right here, and we'll go over Monday Night Raw, man. My name is Jesse, a.k.a. your grateful Chi-Town Smart, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.
My continuous output, my flow of ideas for years been thrilling in me. Please don't stop this feeling in me before the feeling get to killing in me. See, I'm into mayhem. When I play, hear the streaks are happening, then I'm ready to leave your grave in. Lucifer got nothing to do with this shit. To the days of dirt, you're getting fucked up within. And I put that on the house, bitch. To the days of the dirt, you gon' cancel that down shit.
And you can inhale the danger. Consider this us spilling out pills of anger. Fuck around, swell a vein up and make you rebel on a stranger. Get contained up, things I'm thinking. Sometimes I be feel like I'm sinking in the motherfucking words of the rap. Floating in the ink pen, breathing and blinking as I lead you to the brink and push you off in the deep end of the issue. Out of the realm of reaching, you ain't gonna know what the fuck hit you cause you sleeping. Chicago up in your motherfucking shit. Here to show you how worse of it fucking get. Don't play by books. I'm really up in it, burning the rules. Fuck that instruction shit.